Welcome everyone to the second episode of Scholars Progress. And let me remind you that this is a series dedicated to catching up with some of our former students to see where they are now and if they succeeded. Today, my guest is Sebastian from Germany, and we'll be finding out what he scored and where he is now. So, Sebastian, welcome to the show.
Hi, Andy. How's it going? I have the pleasure to talk to you today from Toronto, which is an amazing city. You can actually compare that with Little New York, and it has such a good vibe in here. I love the city. You can do so much in here. You can go, for example, ice skating right in front of the Toronto Sound, which you see right over there. That's where we're gonna start our New Year's Eve tomorrow, and I'm so excited for that.
Fantastic.
I've done a couple lessons with you, and I really appreciate that because you supported me in getting the score I need to immigrate to Canada, but also to Australia. It gives me actually the opportunity to be eligible for the permanent residency in both countries. I was able to achieve a speaking with 8.5 points and all the other 3 dimensions with 7 points. I tried very often beforehand. I was always very close to the result I wanted to get, but through your help and through shifting my mindset, I was able to get what I wanted, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very excited, and that's why I have the great opportunity to stand right in front of Toronto Sign here today to speak to you.
That's amazing, and yes, it's really good to see the success that you've had. And I believe you're on the ice at the moment. Is that right?
Not yet, but I'm more than happy to do that. Give me 1 second. So here we go.
Be careful.
Now we are. Unfortunately, because we have plus degrees right now, the water is a little bit watery and my shoes are pretty wet now, but I take that.
As you said, you really boosted your scores by almost a whole band for every single score. And an 8.5 in speaking is fantastic. That's more than many native speakers get. That's probably more than most people in Toronto could achieve, London as well. So is it living up to your expectations?
Absolutely. And yeah, I really enjoyed the journey there, even though it was very, very challenging. I think the most challenging part was really always to keep the mood, to stay positive, to redo, to relearn, to be passionate about taking the journey again and again and again, never giving up on the learning process, and really to target and to see the score I want to have right in front of me, and really to focus on that. I really needed to focus on what I want to get the 7 and higher, rather than focusing on what I don't want. Like, oh, I don't want to lose. I don't want to, score lower than 7. The most important part for me was really on focusing on what I want. It was challenging because I did that while I was working full time. So there were additional workload, but now looking backwards, I was absolutely worthy. It taught me things like if you change the way you look at things will change. It taught me as well, leave your comfort zone and you grow. You don't grow in your comfort zone, you grow when you leave it. And I have just an amazing time down here in Toronto, and I'm really excited being in Canada.
It's fantastic to see the results of your hard work. And it was more than a couple of lessons. You had 16 lessons. But you achieved your success early, so we'll be refunding you 4 of those lessons. Now, you mentioned difficulties. What was the hardest part about settling into Canada? What was some of the culture shock that you experienced?
I think one culture shock for sure is finding an apartment here, because I told myself I definitely do not want to live in a basement apartment. And that's a big challenge, because unfortunately the rates for renting are very high. Very often you share apartments with more than 2 or 3 people. Sometimes there are even solutions offered, like to sleep behind a curtain considered as a room. All that I didn't want to have. I was really looking for what I want, which was an apartment with 1 person, and that's what I have now. And I have a great life in here, and I just love it.
Any communication problems?
No, because you prepared me so well, so there wasn't any barrier.
And we were just talking a moment ago about the difference between little green men and little white men in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What can you tell us a bit about that?
At the first day, I was standing at a traffic light with my suitcase in my right hand. I was waiting till the little green man was coming so I can pass the street. But for some reason, it didn't show up. It was, yeah, there was always just a red and a white. And I didn't realize the white man. So I was kind of stuck there. I was waiting till the green man was coming, but it didn't appear till I realized, oh, they don't have green, they do have a white man. So when you have a white light, that's when you walk. So that was a kind of a fun experience. Now I know when it turns white, that's time to walk.
Very good tip for anyone listening moving to Canada. So what do people do in Canada to entertain themselves? What do you do in the evenings, or how's your social?
So one part which is very common, which is the most important part, is be active, go outside. Do not even try to hide yourself inside your room, in your apartment, in hostels, wherever you are. Go out and explore the city wherever you are. Toronto, by the way, is an amazing city. Vancouver, gorgeous city as well. Lots of outdoors there, hiking, skiing, hills, ice skating. So yeah, in the summer times, spring times, whatever, go swimming, running around harbor fronts and stuff like that. So the most important part is really going out. That's what people are used to. In winter times, because it gets dark pretty early, there is a tendency to go to pubs, which is great. I highly recommend Irish pubs. They have amazing live music here in a few of the Irish pubs. It's really about socialize with others. Do not stick to your phone. It's really communicate to others. Communication starts with you. Communication starts with opening your mouth and not by looking on Facebook, looking on YouTube, Instagram, and whatever other sorts are available. It really starts with yourself, communicating to others, get connected with others, build your social circle, go out and explore the city, go skating, do things you have never done, you thought you can't try. A friend of mine who's Brazilian, she just enjoyed building a snowman with me the other day, and we just laughed at. And just, I mean, that's where you, that's where you live. You live the moment, and that's the most important. Go out and live life.
Now, I know Sebastian likes ice cream, because he once had a very large ice cream sundae whilst I was teaching him, which I thought was a bit cruel. It looks delicious. How is the ice cream in Canada?
It's different. They don't have as many flavors as back home in Germany, but that was actually in summertime. So what I have now is crumbled apple pie with ice cream, vanilla ice cream, which is gorgeous and a great dish as well, especially now in winter times. And I highly recommend that. So actually, I need to confess, whenever I go out and I ask for a dessert, let's say in 80%, it for some reason turns into the apple crumble with ice cream.
You're starting to make me feel hungry now. I shouldn't have asked you that question. So Sebastian, are you staying in Canada? You mentioned Australia as well.
Right now I'm staying here. I will go down the road and decide that. What is the big advantage of my high school is being eligible for the permanent residency in Australia. So I definitely will kick in my application for this visa as well. And I will decide, because you never know what is coming up, what you're keen on in the future. You can't predict everything. So I told myself, I'm investing in that. I will get this visa, do as much as I can to get out from there, and then see where I go with it.
And you've got such a high score that it opens up lots of opportunities for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I kind of still can't believe it, but I feel confident, and I think I deserve that result. So that really goes. Pardon?
Can you describe Canadians? What are they like?
Canadians, I would definitely say they're very, very friendly. They encourage you as well to go out into the nature. Interestingly, you do not meet so many Canadians. You meet more immigrants, because Canada is very strong in immigration. So, and that's a big advantage of the cities like Toronto as well, Montreal, Vancouver, just to pick three. You will find international travelers from all over the world. Everybody has gone through the same challenges as you might do. So in this regard, sometimes you find Canadians, of course, they exist. Yes, they do. They're really warm-hearted. They are friendly. They're very supportive whenever you approach them. Just speak to them. But that's the same with any other immigrant who might have received his permanent residency. These people are willing to help you. The most important is open your mouth, leave your comfort zone, and start communicating to people.
Sounds very immigrant friendly. That's great. So how can people follow in your footsteps, Sebastian? How can they do what you have done?
Okay, the very first thing is you need to commit yourself to take the effort, to put in the work which is necessary to crack the nutshell of the IELTS test. The second part is take lessons with Andy. And the third part is really shift your mindset. Shift the mindset towards what you want. You want to have a high score. Why do you want to have it? You want to have it for a special purpose. Make yourself clear what is your purpose. Why do you want to have this score? And focus on that. Imagine you will have this score and what does it bring to you? Which great opportunities it will bring to you. And that's the most important part. Really focus on your outcome. Stay positive. Do it again and again and again, and take the effort which is necessary. I firmly believe everybody is able and capable to crack this nutshell. It just takes one thing, which is effort.
Fantastic. And you can see the effort is definitely worth it. So, and we've been talking a bit about the self-motivation and motivating yourself and how we might add that into some of my lessons with your help. Do you have any more advice about that?
So what I thought about, because that's where it really goes down to, and I know and I experience that, how challenging it can be to stay very positive, to stay motivated. There are some techniques which really keep you basically on a very high energy level, and you want to be in this high energy level because then you can boost this IELTS test easily. You can apply these methodologies to any other test as well, to any other situation, because your outcome is based on your input, and the input is the effort you put in there. If you're committed to do things, do these things. Say I do them and stick to them. Really, don't turn you down if you haven't done that. See what is the value for you. What have you learned from that, and go from there and make it clear to you why you want that. Put the effort in.
Yeah, and it must work. An 8.5 in speaking, as I say, is higher, far higher than a lot of native speakers get. So you've obviously done very, very well there. Now, we were talking earlier about the computer test, because you took the computer test instead of the paper test. Did that help you?
It did help me. It did help me specifically in the writing, and the reason why, the system is telling you how many words you have written. However, it is very important to mention the keyboard, it might be different to yours, and that's what I have experienced. My keyboard in Germany has this set where is the Y and the opposite. So where did it let me to while I was taking the test? I was struggling with basically spelling the word you in the right way. So always when I wanted to write the Y, I typed this that, which takes additional time. However, the big advantage as that is it gives you an overview how many words you have written, and you can feel confident to follow these instructions. And yeah, if it gets really very noisy now, here you see the fire trucks coming up, you might see them. They are actually, like in New York, very, very noisy. You will hear them kind of 24 hours a day, because there's always something happening here in town. And let me show you that as well. That is the old city hall, and that's where we will be standing to kick off New Year's Eve.
Excellent. And yes, I wish you a very successful 2020. And thank you very much for that tip about the keyboard as well, because I think that's something that's never been mentioned before. It's quite a new part of the test, the computer test. So make sure that you're familiar with the keyboard that you will get in the IELTS test on test day. It's more of an English keyboard. Yeah.
And there is actually one more thing which just comes in my mind. On the reading, because that's going to be on the screen as well, you do have the chance to highlight words The important part is if you don't feel confident and you haven't tried that before, ask before the test starts how to highlight single words. But of course, it's much better you have tried that before to be aware that you can highlight that. And the third thing which comes in my mind is on the listening, you do not have additional 10 minutes to transfer your answers onto the paper. So once you hear the words in the listening part, you need to type them into the gaps right away. If you don't, you'll lose marks. Don't risk that, really type them into the gaps right away. To summarize these three things in listening: focus, listen, and type into the gaps right away. In the reading part, highlight the words which are important to you. Practice beforehand how to highlight. And in the writing, make yourself comfortable with an let's say with a kind of a different keyboard, because the order of the letters might be different. And if you follow these three things, if you take the lessons with Andy, and if you stay focused, I feel confident to tell you, you will get the result you want to have. And that gives you the opportunity to go to an amazing city like Toronto, like I'm living in right now, and I just love it.
It's absolutely great, and it is. Thank you for this guided tour. It's fantastic to see a bit of the city life and the ice and the weather and the people and the atmosphere of Toronto. It sounds fantastic, and very good tips. Thank you very much for those tips about the listening and the reading and the writing in the computer-based test. I'm sure that's going to be beneficial for many listeners, and they will definitely benefit from that. And sorry, Sebastian, but we're nearly out of time. We're just about run out of time. So I would just like to invite everybody to visit the website englishwithanexpert.com if they have any other questions, or if they want any tips or advice, or they want to see more success stories about the IELTS and other tests. Thank you very much for joining us, Sebastian, today. It's been fantastic to have this look around Toronto. And we wish you all the best with 2020 and the 2020s and your new life in Toronto. And maybe we'll come back and catch up with you when you're in Australia and have another guided tour then.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that. And I wish you as well a very successful, happy 2020. And I feel confident to say 2019 was an exciting year. 2020 is gonna be even better. In this regards, have a great, happy new year. And all the best wherever you are in the world. And Annie, it was a pleasure to see you again. And thanks so much for the support you have given to me. Thank you
very much, Sebastian. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.